Hey everybody, how's it going? As you can see, I've been a busy man today. Um, as you know, I don't have the editing software I used to have, so I've got to do it this way. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. But I've got two videos, one from a couple of days ago, and what I accomplished today. I had a day off from all the driving, so I put my ass to work. Um, Sadly, I had to do it on my own, so I ended up hurting myself a little bit. Uh, Kind of dislocated my elbow twice today. So, yeah, the arm's pretty much useless as I'm sitting here. It happens all the time when I lift too much weight. It's easy to put back in a place by myself, but it's very painful. Um, so, how about I get up that video, the first one from a couple of days ago, and I'm hoping I do this correctly because it is something I can't edit. So let's go to media source. Browse that some bitch up. I hope everyone's been having a great day. We're going to go up to desktop here. And now to make sure it's the right one. So it is. I believe it's this one right here. So I'll be back in a little bit. Hey everybody, how's it going? I do apologize for the wind, but I wanted to show you where I was at with the car. As you can see, I've got her adjusted about where I want her. Geez. So that is the job coming up. Now, as you can see over here, it does not line up. So what I'll be doing is I'll be splicing in pieces to line that up a bit. So it brings it down to where I need it. And then go from there. But what I have done, I capped off where the old rear windows were. Did this side already. And as you can see over here, I've got to cut all this out. That is the reason for the tape over here. It's been raining, so I haven't been able to do much. Raining a lot, but I've got to cut all this out and then put new metal in the back. As you can see, I've got the trunk lid where I want it cut. It's a nice straight cut. I was actually pretty impressed. I wanted the emblem to stay there. So what I'll be doing, like as you can see here, I tacked it in to give it some strength, give it some stability. She's nice and solid. But as you can see, where are we? There we go. As you can see, it's pretty sharp edges. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building a lip here that goes down and to the back, kind of like a truck would. Here's the problem. The S10. The S10 I brought in for a safety inspection, and she is a total waste of time. Now, the chassis is, they said, perfect. Nothing wrong with the chassis. Problem is the box and the cab. If any of you know what a firewall is the wall that separates the engine bay from the cab and has a lot of your electronics and your brake pump and all that bolted on there. Well, the firewall has completely let loose from the floor and the cab, so totally unsafe. So today I'm going to start by removing the box, and then hopefully this week we're going to have some good weather, and then I'll be starting to strip down the cab, take the doors off, everything like that. And then there is about a 2-inch difference between the Studebaker wheelbase and the S10. And as you can see here, there's no real body lines in this area here. That's pretty smooth, just a little bit rounded here, a little bit rounded on the bottom. So I'll be cutting this car all the way in half to extend it about those 2 inches that I need. And she's going to go on the chassis of the S10. My son wasn't even disappointed that the truck wasn't worthy. I was really shocked. He just looked at me and said, "Hey, at least we got a chassis for the Studebaker." So that is the project at hand right now. I've got to get that done before winter's here. I've got to take this cab or this body off this frame before winter's here, cut it in half, get it sitting on that chassis, on the S10 chassis before snowfall. And then I guess I'll be wrapping her up for the wintertime in the tarp and, let it be until springtime. And then for the time being, this is the debate I'm having with myself. Do I cut the firewall off of this truck and leave it with part of leave it and then use it for the firewall of the Studebaker, so that way I have less issues of moving things around. Now the S10's got a little 4-banger sitting in her. This is me, by the way. Has a little 4-banger sitting there right now. You guys know I have the 327 with the 350 turbo tranny, which sadly has been in the elements because of the tonneau cover not being on anymore. So I'm gonna have to make sure that doesn't have water in it or anything, and put it away for the time being. Yeah, so some more issues arise, but this is what I'm doing with the rear here. This is where the taillights usually go. I'm going to be capping this off, put a new hole in, and as you can see, there's some big gaps here between the body and the trunk. So I'm going to be using some metal to close that all in, flush it all out. Same with this area, cap it off, put new holes in for the lights, and strengthen it up a little bit. Maybe do the same here to make it a little bit better. There is some rust and everything. Got to take all this Bondo off and see why the fuck there is all that Bondo under there. Yeah, so the work got a little bit bigger, but I'm up for the challenge. And capping the old door or the old windowsills, that'll make it a lot easier to keep the strength in the body, as well as when I go to mount this. It has an inner wall as well, as you can see right there. So this is the inside of the wall, this is the out, and I'll be doing the same thing once I have all this rust fixed up and capping it off at the bottom. Then I'll just be able to weld it straight onto here. You can see my welds are shit, but you know what they say, grinders make everything pretty. This here, like, there's a big gap here, like this, the difference, like with levels. So why I decided to go with the idea I'm going with is because I can angle it down and inward to where I need it. This here is the perfect spot for it. I'd like to be able to just merge it right up close and tight, but it's not going to work that way. And with now having to cut the body in half, I'm not going to be attaching this anytime soon because I need to be able to do that. But what I'm going to also have to do is get some steel to brace the what's going to be the box and what's going to be the cab. I got to be able to brace those. I'm going to weld the doors shut as well, and that way it keeps it stable and from twisting in on itself. But yeah, that's the job ahead of me right now. I'm going to leave all this shit on here. Just remove the cab and everything, and haul her off to the scrapyard. I don't have a use for it. She'll be going on there. The chassis is in really good shape, like I said. So, I'll post an update when I can. Okay, you guys have a good one. I'm out of here. Talk to you later. Well, as you can see, folks, yeah, that day I didn't get the box off like I was talking about in the video. Um, I got most of the bolts undone, and I just lost all light. It was already late when I started shooting that video. I've got another video to bring up, and yeah, then it'll be the end of this video. But I'm working through some ideas right now for the that back window. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. If I'm going to do an El Camino style rat rod, or if I'm going to just scrap it and do a truck style um, rat rod. It seems like the easiest route right now would be to go the actual truck rat rod at the moment, because of the changes I've got to make. I've got to splice the car in half and make sure that the wheel wells are going to match up to the frame or the chassis of the S10. But I'll show you how I wrecked my arm up today. It was stupid, but I'm a man down. I've got a kid that just wants to sleep all the time, and you know, fuck him. I ain't asking him for help. But here, let me get the last video up, and then later on, after I have some salad, I'm going to do some RWO action. So let's get that last video up here, folks. I'm sorry the way I have to do this. And I do apologize for the way it was upside down. I'm hoping that this one will not be that way. We'll see. Well, everybody, welcome back to Pillar to Post. I've been a busy man today. I had a little bit of free time, so what did I do? Well, I started ripping apart the S10. The box is off. Had to do it all on my own. I am a man short. My son is injured. Tomorrow, after a clinical run with my wife up to Hamilton, Ontario, then I'm going to start ripping apart the front end, the cab. So the fenders, the hood, start disassembling all the wire. This is also what I did today. Now, that's about 300 to 500 pounds there, and I had to load her up on my own. I dislocated my elbow twice on my left arm. Still got her up. Last attempt, I had to do it all just one-armed. The one-armed bandit, I guess you could say. But yeah, so the rear bumper's off. All the wiring was detached from the box. The gas filler neck was disassembled from the box. So that's all on the truck now. The box, the bumper, the and all the other crap that I had to take off. Tomorrow, it's the front end and the wiring, interior, and oh lordy, she's gonna be a good one. I showed this in my last video, but having a little bit of a different idea. I'm thinking about chopping this fucker right in half. And one, it'd be easier to load up onto the new frame. Two, thinking about cutting the back end of that cab off and turning it into a legit truck. I'm not sure yet. I like this thought of an actual El Camino style vehicle, but I'm going to do what is best, what is easiest, since I have to do it on my own. And she is a rat rod, so you know, you experiment with a rat rod. You do what you can with a rat rod. You work with what you got. Now, for the time being, the 4-cylinder that is in the S10, she's going to remain in there because I want to drive the fucker. I'm hoping to do all this before snowfall. So I've got maybe half a month to get that done, between hitting the road constantly and getting my son off to physiotherapy now, and my wife to her back injections. She's going to be tight. Let's see if I can do it on my own. That's the challenge right now. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a look-see of what was all done today. My left arm's kind of useless at the moment, but she's all I'm going to do for tonight. I need a break. So I've got her done. I don't know even what time it is. It's got to be about 5 o'clock. But yeah, that is my job, is to get this car on there before snowfall. And if I don't have it on before snowfall, it looks like I'll be getting a little bit frosty out here.
because I want to get rid of any kind of scrap left over. So that means the frame of that one, the motor, any parts I'm not going to be using, it has to go to the scrap yard. And I don't need neighbors complaining like that one up there. I don't need her to get upset because she's a good neighbor. I know like these ones they don't give a shit. They get a thrill of watching me hurt myself, but you know it is what it is. Some things I'm gonna have to do is probably move that gas tank. I don't think it's gonna work there. We'll see what I can do. Um, work it out. I know the box is not going to be very deep to begin with. I want this to sit as low as possible on this frame, so I'm going to have to build a frame for the floor of the box or the car, regardless. Um, but we'll see what happens. This isn't going to be your typical rat rod or a homemade frame, whatnot. It's going to be what I can do, what I have, and let's see how far I can get her because like there's a lot of old stuff still on here, like brand new brake lines and everything, but they just routed it, left these junky old ones right where they were, and like they are like severely rotted, just falling apart. So just another piece of scrap. God, there we go. Just let go. So I'm gonna remove all that. Yes, I am gonna paint the frame. I'm gonna take a wire brush to it, get her cleaned up as good as possible, wash her off, give her a coat of paint, and then go from there. Because why not save it as long as I can? The frame, everything looks good on it to me. There's no holes, there's no cracks, there's no major rust. So it looks like it's going to be feasible to do. This is my only concern right now. I could probably just leave her there because I'm gonna have like probably use these same mounts right here. These are the mounts right here, right there. That where the box was connected to. She's also connected right there and right here. So if I can use those same holes, don't matter how deep the box sits, I'm not going to be using it as a truck anyway. She's just something to play with and have fun with. No, I'm not going through a midlife crisis. I'm just doing something I've always wanted to do, and that is build a rat rod. And hey, that's what I've got to work with, and that's what I'm going to use. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Have a great afternoon, great night. Always have a better tomorrow. This is Pete Wall signing off, and let's see if I can do this. Um,
Well, folks, those were the two videos I was able to shoot. I do apologize for the camera work. It's a bit shoddy, but I didn't have any helpers today. Um, so I was kind of all over the place with the filming and whatnot. But I work with what I've got. I do with what I can, and the goal is by the end of the week to have all the wiring disconnected on the S10 and the cab removed, and get the Studebaker ready. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to chop her in half. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not gonna try and shorten the wheelbase of the S10 chassis because one, it's easy on a body to take a little bit too much off and fill it in. And with a chassis, it's a little bit harder. And I really don't want to weaken the frame. It is a really good frame, so I'd rather extend it than, extend the body rather than shorten the chassis. I'm very new to this. I don't have experience doing this stuff. I've chopped up cars in my past. I've never put them back together. I've seen guys take a truck cab and cut it up into 5, 6 different pieces and reassemble it into the way they wanted it. and you would never tell the difference besides it being chopped and everything. But I don't have that kind of experience, so this is going to be a real test for me. Like I said, I've got till the first snowfall to get the body swapped, and I think the easiest way to do that would be to cut it in half, and then go from there. Decide what I'm going to actually do. Um, Either keep it as the Studamino project, or if it's going to become a Studebaker Rat Rod pickup. Either way, it's going to be a fun toy to play with. I've got some wild ideas I want to use for it, and I want to do that. Now, one of the ideas I'm playing around with is taking the back of the cab where you've seen the rear window of the S10 and merging that with the Studebaker cab. You gotta, it wouldn't look the same, but if I go with the truck idea, then that would be the best route to go, and I can just mold it in and do what I need to do that. Um, just a lot of ideas up here for the project. And like I said, for the time being, I'm going to keep the 4 cylinder in there because I don't have all the parts I need for the 327. So it's not feasible to excuse me, rip the entire engine and everything out, because once I've got the tranny in there and the engine, I'm more than likely going to have to change the style of the floor of the car, which I'm going to probably do anyway to get that over and done with. But tomorrow, after my wife's medical appointment, I'm going to be dropping off the scrap that you've seen in the back of the big green, and seeing if they have at the scrap yard some square 1 by 1 tubing I can get from there. And instead of buying it new, it'd be a lot cheaper, and I can trade it, part of it with the scrap I bring in. As you can hear, JoJo's winding downstairs, so I've got to go. Plus, I've got to eat. So I'll see you guys in about an hour or two for some RWO action, and get myself cleaned up. So I'm out of here for now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later.